around 6 o'clock, go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll go ahead and do introduction of members. Jeff, starting with you, please.
Jeff Watson, representing County Commissioners.
Sandy Flora, Delphi City Council.
Marion Burton, appointed by the Delphi Mayor.
Don Chocolate, the Carroll County Surveyor.
Jordan Willis, I represent the Town of Kingdom.
Brad Farr, County Council.
Cindy Harmon, Legal Counsel.
Cameron Yates, Area Plan Director.
Florida Mills, Area Plan.
Okay, moving on to the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have any additions, corrections, revisions? I had one that I had sent to Gloria last week. I may have printed off the wrong ones about the. It is in there? Okay. I grabbed the wrong ones when I printed them off.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Got a motion on the floor?
I will second that.
Got a second? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Because I wasn't.
Don abstains because he was not here. But it approved, it all approved.
You guys have to do the same.
Jordan has to abstain too.
It's just the minutes, the weeks of the road.
Okay, so now the next meeting.
Okay, we'll resubmit it for next meeting. Moving on to the rezone for Honor LLC, which I believe is the Underhill property out there next to Dollar General, same lot, that lot right there. Mulligan, yeah. Cameron, could you give us the rundown, and then we'll have the petitioner describe the scope of the project?
Honor LLC submitted an application to rezone 4 parcels located in Grimes Subdivision, Deer Creek Township, Section 30. The petitioner is requesting the zoning to be changed from U2 urban residential to B2 local business for construction of a retail building located on vacant parcels, as the intended future use of the parcel is not allowed in the current zoning classification. The rezone was properly advertised in the Carroll County Common on May 12, 2021, and proof of publication is on file. The sign was posted on the property as required, and certified mail receipts from the office to adjoining property owners are on file as well. It is the staff's opinion the rezoning of the property would not impede the orderly development of surrounding properties, general welfare of the public, and adjoining property owners. It is the opinion of the staff the rezoning would not endanger the public, health, safety, or morals of the community members. Staff would provide support to the commission, provide a favorable recommendation to the city of Delphi for rezoning of the property.
Is that it, Cameron?
That's it.
Okay, go ahead and open it up for the petitioner.
Thank you
Describe
very
the
much.
project. Go
Thank
ahead,
you very much.
if you would, announce your name and who you're with.
There's a mic underneath there that was, and it should be on and ready to go. It wasn't staying there because of the tape, so you can try it if you
Let's
wish.
see if we can. And for short people. Good evening, my name is Bill Niemeyer, and I am General Counsel for Honra LLC. And if I may, I have a couple handouts that I'd like to pass out if it may be of assistance.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm saying it's still on Google. Or-
I think it's gone on me.
also, before I go into the particulars of this project, I want to thank Cameron Yates and Gloria Mills for their assistance in getting to this point. You know, the hard part is getting all the backup work. Tonight was actually the easy part, once you satisfied all of the statutory requirements, which, as Cameron described, we have. What Honra LLC is requesting is lots 2 and 3 and 10 and 11, as shown on the first diagram that I handed out. Those 4 lots are currently zoned U2, and it just so happens that the 2 lots to the right, lots 4 and 9, who are owned by the Underhill family, Honra is in the process of purchasing those 6 lots. We had originally intended to come forward and request the rezoning of all 6, but it turns out that 4 and 9 are already zoned B2. So what we are requesting is the rezoning of lots 2, 3, 10, and 11 to be consistent with the adjoining lots from U2 to B2. And the rezoning of those 4 lots for a business or commercial purpose will allow Honra LLC to proceed with the construction of a family dollar store. That is our intended use for the property. We have met with the city. We realize that after this evening, if this request is granted, we'll be back very soon, probably at your next meeting, requesting to have a couple alleys vacated. There's some utilities that we need to relocate. This particular parcel, this project, it's presented some obstacles, but none of which are insurmountable. So, you know, with enough determination and a little bit of extra money, you can make just about anything work. But we can't move forward without those lots being rezoned to be consistent with the neighboring properties. And I would also just note for the record that along Franklin Street, it is becoming a corridor of businesses. So this proposed use is similar to what's already there, and we do think that it complements the neighborhood and adjoining properties. And I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board for the district? No comments, we have a motion to rezone this from U2 to B2. Well, public comment, I'm sorry. Yep. We'll open the floor up to public comment regarding this project. Anita?
Mayor Willing, City of Delphi, have met with the developers for this property. The city is, obviously this would need to be approved by council, but we're certainly in favor of the project moving forward.
Any other public comment?
We had no objections come into the office. We had one inquiry, once the sign was posted, just asking some general questions, but there was nothing submitted to the office as far as concern or anything like that.
It's just interesting, those 2 lots are already B2 next to where U2 is. Odd.
Well, as you can see
Probably
here,
back
there,
before it was really set into a business type, yeah.
I think there was a house there.
there used to be, the house in the picture is now gone, it's all just a flat vacant.
There's not even brush there.
No, these lots aren't affected anyway, so it's these right here.
Yeah, probably that.
Any other comments, public comments? Moving on, board discussion, any board comments, concerns, questions?
What's the other 2 lots that are not labeled? But are they, what's the zoning of that usually? 3, 10, 11 from U2 to B2.
Motion's been made by Don to make a favorable recommendation to city council and ultimately the commissioners to rezone for the city council. Lot 3, lot 2, lot 10, and lot 11 from U2 to B2. Do I have a second? Jeff, have a second from Jeff. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to the rezone for Atkinson property. Cameron, would you give us a summary of that, please?
Yes, so this one's a little bit unique. Unfortunately, this was kind of what we ran into earlier in this year and several times last year. The big scope of the project is, a lot of banks now are doing their homework on financing. So houses that were bought 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, or 30 years ago, apparently this process didn't happen. So now banks are doing a lot more research, thorough research, and discovering that, wow, this is zoned something that we're not gonna give you this interest rate for this if it's zoned this. So this particular lot, and I don't know, these lots are zoned business, and I went back to, I talked to Mark Smith, which is our county historical guy, and he was kind of stumped too, other than in 1868, there used to be a hat store. So, I reached out to several people in Delphi, I said, hey, can you kind of give me a history of this? So, the zoning maps in 1972 had it picked out as zoned as business. So, I'm guessing maybe they wanted to do something with it, with the, what was there at the time, just, I don't know. But other than the funeral home there, or tying it to the funeral home, I know there was a vet clinic or something, but we're kind of stumped on this one, other than now we need to get it to zoned residential so they can get the process moving. So, long story short, that's that part. So the staff report is, Area Plan Commission received an application from Thomas and Joy Atkinson to rezone 4 parcels located on East Franklin Street, Delphi, Indiana, section 29, township 25. The petitioner is requesting the zoning to be changed from B3 central business to U2 urban residential. The property owners were unaware the property has been zoned business for several years. Rezoning the property would make it more convenient for selling and financing the property in the future to obtain residential mortgages. The rezone was properly advertised in the Carroll County Comment on May 12, 2021, and proof of publication is on file. The sign was posted on the property as required, and certified mail receipts from the notice to adjoining owners are on file as well. In the staff's opinion, the rezoning of the property would not impede the orderly development of surrounding properties, general welfare of the public, and adjoining property owners. It is the opinion of the staff that rezoning would not endanger the public health, safety, or morals of the community members. The staff would provide support of the commission to provide a favorable recommendation to the city of Delphi for rezoning of the property. And this, once again, would be a recommendation to the Delphi City Council if approved. So, it's a tricky one, but.
Okay. Tom, Joy, do you guys have anything to add to this?
Thank you, Brad. I think Cameron covered it completely, fairly completely. I would say Joy and I have lived at 201 East Franklin since May of 1992. We do not recall any of these 3 houses ever being a business establishment. They've always been residential to our memory. And so thank you for your consideration. Would be glad to answer any questions should you have them.
Okay. Open it up for public comment. Any public comment? First row, Anita.
I didn't even raise my hand.
Yes, and again, the the city council will vote on this, assuming that you have a favorable recommendation, and, fully expect that they will, concur that this property should be rezoned. The city is in favor.
Second row.
I'm Clara Ryder. I'm one of the neighbors, and we certainly enjoy our residential community, and we would not like to see a business in there.
Thank you, Clara. Back row. Ellie, got anything to add?
Is Mr. Craig here tonight? No, I'm joking. Thanks for the courtesy. I don't, but thanks for asking.
Tom and Joy, you guys are not the only ones that had this rezoning issue. We've had quite a few over the past 6 months for Carroll County.
I think the problem is the federal backboard keeps it all clamped down, differently. When I just got mine, you get to sign it, just to say you would not do anything, and any business in the property. So I think that's where the state, the problem, is federal backboard.
Maybe if that one property was a hat store, maybe you'll find a hat up in the attic. An antique or something.
I think the one house was built, is it 1868?
I don't think any are that old.
They're not that old. I thought Beacon said something. I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Any board discussion on this? Pretty straightforward, based on those things. Do I have a favorable recommendation, a motion to make a favorable recommendation?
I'll make a motion, we make a favorable recommendation to the Delphi City Council to rezone 201 East Franklin, 205 East Franklin, and 209 East Franklin from B3 Central Business to U2 Urban Residential.
I see.
Okay. Motion has been made to make a federal recommendation to the city council. Make sure it's property correct. Or second. Make a federal recommendation to move the zoning from B3 to U2 for the properties at 201 East Franklin Street, 205 East Franklin Street, 209 East Franklin Street, and I believe 201. Right? There's 4 properties, right, Cameron?
Right.
Four properties. Move that to a recommendation. Do I have any discussion?
Well, I was just gonna clarify, one of the 205 property has 2 parcels listed. That's why there's 4 parcels, but just 3 addresses.
Right. Yeah.
Oops.
That's how it is.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Make a favorable recommendation. Okay, Cameron, next on the list is the broadband ready resolution, which I believe is for internet.
Yes.
Getting,
So Jake Adams is gonna be here tonight to present this, and he's traveling, so we have a backup speaker. Guest of honor,
Backup speaker.
yeah, Julia, so she can kind of tell us a little bit of what this is all about.
So I'm Julia Leahy, and I'm representing the Carroll County Economic Development Board as a board member, and a member of the Broadband Ready Task Force that we put together a few months ago. And we have an ordinance for you to consider to support where we would like for Carroll County to be state certified as a broadband ready community. And what that does is that moves us higher up in the hierarchy of businesses who are looking to develop here, looking for broadband. And it's also for housing, so it's another way to put us at the top of the list, or to get a star by Carroll County to say, hey, they're ready. And so this is one more step that we need to go through to get some processes and procedures in place for when there is a company, an ISP, an internet service provider that is looking to move into the community, know where they're gonna put the lines, know how to go about permitting, and the rules and regulations. So instead of it being a free-for-all, this is one more way that you can have some control over where things are going to be going. So we've been meeting as a committee, Cameron's on that committee, just to kind of talk about what we need to do to be ready. And so this would be a designation from the Lieutenant Governor's office, and this is, did they already get this ordinance? This one, yeah,
The one today, yes, they have
okay,
one
I just
today.
wanna make sure.
We're gonna talk about that once you're done.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just our way of trying to become more ready, so when we do get an industrial development or a housing development, so this is one more step in that process. So we'll present this to the commissioners at a later time, and we would love your support of this.
So this was submitted today, and there was some changes involved in one of the meetings, because you guys can read section 3. I was 100% not for that at all, because just for the, dealing with this at my previous job, a lot of the stuff involves roads, road right of ways that go down roads. So I suggested that we get the county highway involved, because they have GIS layers for the roads and all that. So other than just the section 3, some language saying, that the single point of contact for all this is the area plan director. Jake and I discussed, or the board discussed, and Jake texted me today saying, you know, you guys can put the language as you wish. I just don't feel that it should just be me, because this is a lot to do with the county highway, and I think they spoke with Kent, and he agreed with that. Working through the permitting part, we'll get to that once we get past this hurdle, but, you know, just something for you guys to consider, the section 3 language on, you know, I expressed to them that this can't be all just area plan. We don't have the manpower for it, so it needs to be a dual thing between us and the county highway. I think Kent was on board with that, if I'm not mistaken, and we're gonna have some meetings about it once we get past this hurdle. But however you guys wanna label or, language section 3, I suppose, if approved.
Well, I think it's important too to have a point of contact as a place to start.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you have to do all the work.
Yep.
Also, you know, cause I get those calls all the time, who do I call to get a permit?
Yep.
And my automatic is to call you, and I don't even pay attention to what kind of permit, so you're right, sometimes it would be a permit through county highway.
Yeah, and that part I'm all right with. We can kind of steer it whatever direction it needs to go, but I don't have a problem with that, other than we just need to team up with, we don't want to put this all on area plan, and then I shove something out there that can't go, whoa, do you know, we got county tiles here, we got drains here, or, you know, there's right-of-way issues, so I think he's on board with that. I wasn't, on that conversation with him, but I didn't hear any feedback that said he wasn't.
Yeah, I hadn't even.
Yeah, so I think everybody that's been involved with this is, we're moving forward with it. I mean, it's a good thing for the county, so I haven't heard any, negative things towards it. So you guys are familiar with the governor's initiative to get, internet to every house in the state of Indiana at some point. Obviously with COVID, now we're going with it, so. This is, other states will put lines down their interstates, which is it, limited access right away, and they will, at first, when this all started, they didn't have control of this, and companies started leasing it out underneath the states, and didn't know about it, so this is where, a lot of this is just basically keeping track of stuff, keeping it steering in the right direction, and it's a good tool to have, with the commissioners and everybody on board, so.
I'll have county drains that will be having permits involved.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that's gonna be involved, when it gets to that point.
You're saying basically under section 3, the area plan, subsection A, could read the area plan director along with county highway superintendent and drainage supervisor. As
Well, I don't want we need to go that for the single meeting. I'm okay with it staying, I guess, single point of contact, and then me steering it the way it needs to go. So,
I see what you're
Just
saying.
need to add some language to allow you to,
give it to the other people.
Consult with the drainage board and the
not just
county
consult,
highway.
but
EDC,
to
JC,
designate
yeah.
any additional work out.
Yeah, that way it's just not saying, it's just area plan, so in the event that something happened where there was nobody to be able to contact it, I mean, you still gotta have somebody able to do some of this. So, however you guys wanna, I think Jake said it, EDC, however you guys choose to do it, so. I don't mind being a single point, like I said, I can steer it whatever direction it needs to go.
Why don't you give me direction on what you wanna include it in it, and then I'll work with the attorney that's drafted this to get that language corrected. I did it, Natalie.
Yes, and Mary Robeson is on this broadband task force committee, so she has taken this language from other communities and done something similar, so.
Yeah.
You're right, we've had to tweak a little bit already, so.
So we basically just need to table this for the next meeting.
No,
Or do you need, or just?
I think if you give me direction, we can get the language in that will be satisfactory.
Just for the section.
This is more or less basically stating, basically,
If you guys approve it, the next step is the commissioner.
Yeah, we're a community, and then we're a community that's broadband ready, and
Yes.
get
Saying
that
that we are-
designation from the state.
It also opens up opportunities for grants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big things about getting it in place.
So do you need a motion for that, Cindy?
Yeah.
That we would like you to, okay, so we'll make a motion that we would, turn this over to Cynthia Harmon, our legal advisor, to change a little bit of the language up and then present it to us again next month.
They wanna get it to the commissioners before then, don't they?
Okay.
That's the idea, the sooner we can get to the table and be designated, the better.
I mean, I think if we can get a vote of confidence, from the board supporting the idea and just
Yeah.
let us clean
Yes.
up the language.
Yeah.
The language cleanup is simply gonna be the other entities involved in reviewing and making sure it's steered the right direction, that's all it's gonna include, it's nothing outside of
We'll
the
get that
realm.
changed and then we'll send it out to all the board members prior to it.
So we'll
going.
make that motion to pass it on to you to make the changes we've discussed and agreed upon.
Right.
For the favorable
For the,
recommendation.
for the favorable recommendation to the board of commissioners,
To support.
to support
Right,
this
right,
broadband
recommend- yeah.
readiness.
It's a recommendation of support.
That's a nice phone, did you get all that?
We'll be reviewing that, the YouTube channel.
It deserves more
Play
than a
that
star
back.
by our name, right? Yeah, yeah, we wanna be ready, so,
And thank you for stepping in.
yeah, no problem.
Mary Ann has made a recommendation, or made a motion, made a motion to make a favorable recommendation for this ordinance, along with the legal counsel's changes to the county commissioners. We'll have a second. Don seconds. Any comments, concerns, questions from the board before we go to the vote?
Should we specify just in section 3?
I think that's the only area that.
And the rest of it kind of mirrors what other counties have done. If you see something that you wish to, I mean, certainly speak up on something you see that you want addressed, that's the whole point of what we discussed 4 times. And a lot of section 4, 5, 1 and 2 mirrors, other counties, I think a lot of it was Tiffany County, that's correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so a lot of it is just mirrored of other counties that's already adopted this, so.
Just basically how to get it done and how we're gonna control it, that's the right.
Correct.
Say it right.
Yeah, so when a big company comes in, they're gonna wanna know, do you guys have your ducks in a row, or are we gonna spend 6 months backtracking on something that's gonna hold up a project? So when they see, wow, Carroll County's already got this done, it's kinda like having infrastructure, and it's all ready to go. So it's a big thing for big entity, or big companies that they're ready to roll with it, they don't like to backtrack and wait, cause they can go other areas, I mean, it's a business, so.
Cass County has it on board, Cass County's right of it.
I believe Cass, Tiffany, I don't know all the counties that's adopted it fully, but, I mean, it's something that's been tossed around the entire state. So,
And I don't
it's
think-
not just Indiana.
I don't think many are designated broadband ready yet even, I think it's still fairly new, so if we could get to the table
Be
pretty
the-
quick.
Be the first, or one of the first.
One of the first
Yeah.
rural communities, certainly.
One way or another,
Yeah.
it's coming this direction, because we have a 4-lane highway
Yeah.
that is a big corridor over the state of Indiana, so companies look at that and go, that's a good area to start pulling fiber. So, with that said, this right here is a thing that they'll look, so, a lot involved with it.
Just one thing on the checklist. before the lieutenant governor says yes.
One of many.
If you read section 4, it covers kind of what we're talking about in section 3A. The area plan commission and the commissioners of Carroll County should adopt adequate processes and procedures to implement any provisions of section.
So that kind of gives you the,
Kind of, as you go down the list, you've already got the formalities of who's gonna make the decisions. And if you go on down to section 4B, discriminate among communications, public accesses, right of ways, infrastructure, public river, bridges, crossings, and physical assets uncontrolled by the county.
other than section 3C, that says Carroll County Area Planning Director shall review and approve applications for permitting related to the project. So that's obviously gonna be, the county highway has a GIS system for the right of, I don't know what the right of way is. It's 10 feet or 5 feet, so I guess, yeah, I mean, it fits the big picture. I just didn't know how much language you want involved with the other entities, so I mean,
I think those are all valid points, but I think Cindy gets the gist of where we're at as far as making sure that the county highway and drainage board are kind of included in the wording.
I think like
I think-
that C could be, the area plan director and or applicable department who would approve for that, for a specific area. Something like that.
Back to the motion that's on the table for still considering. Marianne, do you want to revise your motion any, or?
Yeah, but,
Any other discussion on that? We'll go ahead and go to a vote for that ordinance, which was Marianne basically making a favorable recommendation along with legal counsel's changes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Cameron, one more to our Deacon Snyder.
yes, so, and this won't take very long, with what happened in 2020 with COVID, in the world we live in, I come up with a little bit of an idea that a lot of people don't like to come to the courthouse and get paper permits. They just want to stay home and do it electronically. I reached out to Beacon, and they have this program called Geo Permits. There's actually other companies out there. Geo Permits is the one that's kind of, it's taken off all throughout the state of Indiana. We already use Beacon daily, for references only. It's not legal, but we use Beacon every single day for something within the office. So this would already tie into everything that's already in our system that we pay for as far as layers. This would just be, there's a lot involved with it, if we get going with it, but I have a gentleman here that, is gonna just give us kind of a quick 10-minute presentation on what's all involved with it, because there's quite a bit, so. Was it Matt?
Kelly.
Kelly, sorry.
Be the second, Kelly.
Yeah. Easy to remember.
Go ahead, if you would, announce your name and where you're with. Thank you, please.
Yes, sir. I'm Kelly Robinson, with Schneider Geospatial Beacon. And I think Cameron gave emailed you the quick PowerPoint.
Yep, I'll get that pulled up as soon as it refreshes here, sorry.
Well, yeah, Cameron reached out to Beacon and myself and a couple other folks that I work with just to get a deep presentation. So we've met before along with other offices just about kind of modernizing your all's permitting process. And it'll be helpful with a couple of aids here just to run through a brief summary of how it kind of works for you guys. So I'll let this load up real quick.
But I see that, that's kind of, it's gonna get more, sorry.
That's fine, you guys see that, all right? But really, like you mentioned, everything's going to integrate directly with Beacon, so you can go back and forth between the two systems. To start at Beacon, go to find your parcel, find out all the information you want to know about it, and then you can go on to the geo permits to start, whatever permit you're looking for. If you want it that way. Or you can go directly into, the system itself. We can link directly off any county website, put any hyperlink anywhere, to get that going. There's also unlimited use for your organization, so we work with every office. I know it's called geo permits, but it's really a workflow management system. For example, in Kosciuszko County, we work with auditor, assessor, highway, all departments with just whatever type of workflows they come up with that would help their office. So not only permits, but really any workflow you can think of. We also tie up the GIS, so has GIS abilities, so you can get a little bit more accurate, like if you're sketching out a building, or, doing anything with that, you can pull your layers over and have anything like that to be able to move forward. We can get to the next slide. This just shows integration directly with Beacon as well. Pull that information over any property record, any information you specifically need for a specific permit, you can pull that over, and it'll come straight from Beacon. You can get to the next slide as well. Have a chance.
Yeah, fast forward. That's what we need to do to make it bigger, so everybody can read it, so might have to catch up here.
Yeah, 2 slides forward.
I got a 1985 laptop, so it's.
This just shows a simple way to kind of navigate. It's simple. The way to get things built out takes a lot of, not a lot of effort, but it takes effort for you guys to kind of define what you guys are looking for. It's very customizable, so you guys can really build whatever you want. It's just kind of drag and drop and customize each and every step. So that's what really takes the amount of time to get things going. You can get to the next slide. Basically, to get it going, as you can see, this is just a slide I threw in there. That's actually Marshall County. That's a septic permit, so you can see how kind of convoluted and crazy things get going through that. But we can really handle anything that you throw at as long as they can help with the probability system. We can go to the next slide. This next couple slides are just kind of screenshots of what it looks like. You can set up as many users as you want, so you can have as many different permits and many different workflows. It's unlimited, and there's also unlimited users throughout the county, so you can have as many as you want to be able to set that up and get going on there as well. Again, you can have as many permits and things as you need there. This is just a quick snippet of a lot of the permits that we've got going on with other similar counties as well. As you can see, there's not only, there's like city pool pass and things like that that are not necessarily permits, but they're supporting the system just by way of creating that workflow in there as well. Again, you can search directly through any existing data that you guys would have. We have a contractor database. Don't know if you guys use contractor database. Again, an interface. This is just kind of showing you the way it integrates. The first little picture there is how it integrates directly with Beacon, pulling that information over. So you search through just like you search through Beacon, pulls that information up in your system there, geo permits, and you can also go the GIS route and look it up on a map to find what you're looking for as well. This is the customizable workflows. All this stuff is built out specifically for you guys, so whatever you guys want, however you want it to look like, however you guys want it to integrate, we can support that and customize it for you guys. Again, the top picture there is just showing you how you can kind of draw out the specification of a building permit or construction permit, just showing you how you can sketch it out. Makes these things a little more accurate than drawing on a piece of paper or something like that. You can use the actual measurements that you have in the GIS. And you can upload any type of documents. It's really good just to be able to have all that information stored in one location, so you're not going through filing cabinets and whatnot. The person applies at their home, uploads everything from their home, and you guys can do whatever you need directly online. Online payments are supported. Obviously, you can do any type of payments, but we support online payment on there as well. Same thing there. And then automated notifications, so instead of having to call or email different offices to find out certain things, you can set up the workflow so it gets sent automatically. Maybe if this assessor needs to know that there's been new construction, they'll send or email automatically and so on and so forth. So you can set that up through the system, so it eliminates the time it takes for it to get from steps A to Z. You have dashboards you can come into. You're always going to get email letting you know what's happening, but you can also go to the dashboard and be able to view all that information. You can track any inspections that you have there for the dashboard, schedule inspections, manage inspections, upload photos, anything like that as well. You can set up print templates. What I think is cool, the far right slide there with the QR code at the top, we established a unique QR code for every single permit. So if you have that out to job site, you take your phone, take a picture of that, it'll drop you right in the permit without having to search it. And everything is mobile friendly, so everything's gonna look the same on your phone, tablet as it does online. And I believe that's it. It's my long-winded, quick presentation for you guys. Questions?
What kind of cost is it to the county?
I believe the cost is similar to your Beacon site, so I think it's around $6,000 hosting a year. There's some setup and we offer some service packages as well to help you guys start with building that workflows. Those are optional to help you guys define those. We have many options for that.
But you can include other departments such as the assessor,
Yeah, anybody who wants to be involved can jump in as well.
So we would have probably Donnie, because he does the variance permit that's incorporated with our permit, and then obviously the assessor's office. And highway for driveway permits. So you can kind of tackle a lot of this all in. And there's no doubt that we'll still get a lot of people who paper permits, you're not gonna get rid of that. And I don't think that's not the goal, but if we can cut down on paper costs, and people can stay at home and comfort of their home and do this, that's the goal. I mean, this is taking off in all 92 counties, it's not something new, so it's just the world we live in and the internet. When you get big companies, big contractors, this is what they do for projects, they don't know what paper applications are. So,
Many of the, sorry.
Is it attached to Beacon? Like a tab across the top of Beacon?
Yeah, you can have it that way. We have a few counties like that. We work with, I want to say 12, 15 maybe, and Indiana, after you get into the permits. You just have a tab across the top to start your permit, or if you go to your parcel, you can have a link there, it'll drop you right into the permit you're looking for. And to piggyback on that, most of the folks that are limiting or trying to get rid of the paper permits will establish, if someone comes into the courthouse, they'll have their geo permits application, and fill it in for them, we'll walk them through it. That way everything gets stored in one location, so you can always reference back to that permit instead of having to take to the filing cabinet and stuff like that. You always have that in one location. You can access it 24/7 wherever you're at.
just curious, if I want to do a building permit, and I have a contractor who's going to do it, I could, once the building permit is approved, my contractor and myself could get notification.
Yeah, you'll get notification. We can establish that inside the workflow, so it gets sent out to whoever's involved in creating the permit. They'll also automate receipts.
So like for a development or something like that, then once those get approved, that goes out to the contractor, to the developer.
Yeah, you can set it up really any way you want to make sure that everybody gets notified at the end of the day. Of course, where things are at, you can set up ongoing notifications as well.
So tonight, I just want to give you guys a brief overview. I don't anticipate this taking off immediately. There's still a lot involved. I did talk to the treasurer about how we would incorporate this into the payment part with the credit card and all that, and she uses GovPay, or I think there's several options, but we'd want to make it whatever we have now. We want to incorporate that and make it simpler. So there's still a lot of labor to be done. I just wanted you guys